yes. All right, I'm here today with Amanda Bailey and glad to have her with me. I know she's extremely busy, overwhelmingly busy, and I appreciate her taking just a few minutes, stopping here and taking time, and just wanted her to share for a minute. Amanda, we talked some early on about different things, and as I shared a minute ago, I was glad to be able to marry you, Mark. I think about that. That was a
Yes.
made me feel good.
I know, and you've always been right there for us
Well,
throughout all these years, and it's been one true blessed life.
Mark was good to us. He'd always let us come over and put the fireworks off. My son always talked about that.
Well, Mark, he looked forward to that more than your son did. He really loved it.
He was always he's a blessing to a lot of people.
He really was.
He really was.
And he's just right here with us.
Yes. Let me share a little something. Let's share just a little bit.
Okay.
First thing, growing up.
Uh-huh.
What are some things that stand out in your life? The things that really good memories about growing up?
Oh my goodness. Just being here in this country right here where we're at,
right?
Having the privileges that we have, it's crazy when you travel and you see that people have no idea what we experience here.
Yes, ma'am.
And well, I just love just the family life. Sundays, having Sunday dinner. It's just, I mean, we would always ride horses Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
All the family would get together.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
it's just, I mean, we're just, it's incredibly good.
So when we talk about growing up, all of us have different things and experiences that stand out in our minds. And I think of things that, but it come down to animals and stuff like that. My dad used to go to the market back when it was out there near where Advance Auto is and all that. That was a
food line. Market
that was an unreal market.
It was.
Okay. And
it would last all night.
I mean, I used to work later on earlier in that. I used to work at McDonald's when we done that.
Oh.
We would mix our eggs in a 5-gallon bucket with a drill.
Yeah.
To have enough eggs to get you through the breakfast.
Yeah.
It was so big.
Yeah, it was true. And, it's amazing. And remember, they used to have the great big barrels with the fire and actually make pork rinds out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was times are. I mean, it just took you back in time. All the bluegrass pickers, Eric Weitzel and his wife Charlotte, and all the people would just come and have such a good gathering.
Yeah, it was a big ordeal. And you know the crazy thing. Of course, my dad would buy them $5 and $7 ponies, you know, and bring them home.
Yeah.
And he would throw me in the back of the truck with him on the way home, all the way to West Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be right up in the racks with all these ponies.
Yeah.
He'd just throw me up in there, didn't think nothing about it. Go home with nothing but halters and throw us up on the back of them ponies, and they would run and buck.
Yeah.
And that was it was good.
It really was. And you never knew what you were going to come home with after Thursday. Yeah. What kind of animal you were going to have to take care of for the next days.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it's just hard to even imagine doing anything different.
Right. You know, one of the things I found about going to the market, and I'm by far no expert. I had 150 goats at one time, and I found about goats, you have to know 2 key things with goats: how to give them shots, and how to bury them.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the main thing.
And how to keep them in.
Yeah. I had more broomsticks tied on horns.
Oh, yeah. That is so true. And then you worry about, of course, the coyotes and all the... Yeah.
And I fed a many of fox with my chickens.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like chickens worked out really good in that.
I'm having that problem now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I think about what you do here, okay? First thing is, let's just talk about this, okay? When my father passed away a couple years ago, my mom had to really step up. Right. Okay, she's got rental property and she managed stuff. I'm telling you something. I know, without even going too far, when Mark did pass away,
right,
you had to really, I think you did anyway, and change gears.
Right, and it was just so unexpected.
Right.
You know, when he received his transplant, we just really thought that was turning a new door, and he was going to, you know, just recuperate and everything was going to be fine. And that truly is just another lesson in life, how we take so much for granted.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But how have you had to change gears?
Yeah,
and I'm going to do too personal, but I know you've had to change gears.
Oh, yes, very much so. It is something that I never even imagined trying to take care of, was the market and everything. I have learned that he has had so much patience throughout the years
Yes, ma'am.
to be able to do what he has done.
Yeah.
And that's like my grandchildren, you know, how they want to carry on the legacy of this in the family business and everything that it entails.
Yeah.
So it is a busy day for me, but it's nothing that I would not do over.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, I know you've had to reach down and do different stuff, and of course he had. I mean, you couldn't feel, nobody could feel a person's shoes like that. So you've had to reach down and do some different stuff that you didn't, things that he had to handle.
I did.
And then I'm sure you were already handling a lot of stuff anyway.
Right.
But you had to double up and began to reach farther.
Yes, and it has been, it still is a learning process. And
right. That's all right. Don't worry about it.
So it is it is something, you never know what each day brings.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
That's kind of.
Yes. And you know, in the midst of all this, and I know this because I've dealt with my mom, not only do you have to change gears, you have to mourn.
Right.
And do the other work that you didn't count on you had to do anyway.
Exactly.
And
so,
that's tough, I guess.
Yes, the last couple of years have been extremely tough to get through, but with the love and compassion of all my family and friends, it has been something, and I really am truly blessed.
I've been watching you. I see you with grandkids, and I watch you at the ball game, some in the soccer game, and I watch you going along with them, and I can tell that's real. That's so in your heart.
It's everything to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is.
It is.
That's tremendous. Yeah. Grandkids are great.
They are.
Yeah.
They are grand for a reason.
I like for them to go home now. I'm not as. I've got other friends that are a lot better grandfathers than I am because I like for them to leave and go home. I don't want them to stay long. And my wife does a lot better. She did do better on the first couple. This last one, she gets a little bit shorter. The time span starts to shrink down on the amount of time she can make it with it. It's great. So growing up, think about the things that you really enjoyed, and you think about things, memories and stuff that you enjoyed. And I think that's important.
Right.
It really is important.
It is. And it makes you really who you are. And I really look forward to each day to, and really, I think we all just help each other, and that's how we get along in this world.
I figured the other day, and I shared this with a friend of mine, I said, I'm 65, and if I make it to be 80, okay, and any number of the things wrong with me could take me out tomorrow, but if I make it to be 80, that I figured up I had 5,745 days left.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, and when you think about the days, the Bible said, teach me, Lord, to number my days.
Right.
And if I've got 5,000 in the 745 days, okay, I mean, each day is really more important.
It is.
Than what you think. Well, I've got 20 years or I've got 10 years.
Exactly, and that's very true. You learn, you know, not to put things off, and you learn that keeping something special for a special occasion, it is a special occasion.
Exactly.
So when people figure that out, then they've got the secret of living.
Yes, ma'am. You know, I my children several years ago, I got I had property and different things, and I got it all, and I got with an attorney, and I gave it all to my kids, and I gave them everything, and I said, and even the house I live in, I gave it to my son and my daughter-in-law, and I said, now, because we're not going to leave you anything, your mom and I, we're going to spend all the money we can, okay?
Right.
We're not leaving you anything. We might leave you a credit card, and you can pay it off if you want to.
There you go.
But I said, we're out of here, okay? But I mean, that's just what we hit at that point.
Right.
Well, all right, so you're growing up. Now let's think this. You are an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I mean, we have to absolutely say, be honest, you're like an entrepreneur on crack, okay?
Okay.
Not actually on crack.
Exactly.
But extended. I mean, when you think about the things that you're doing, I mean, what advice can you give to people out there that want to go in business?
Well, I would say that you cannot be afraid to try.
Okay.
That is what really that stops most people. They're just afraid. So I would say that you just have to have all the confidence in the world, and failure is certainly not some place that you're going to stay at. It's just an experience. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you just keep growing each day, and if you have a desire to do really what you're trying to do, then it's going to work out for you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And you know, it's not important always that you love what you're doing, because you can not love what you, and it's all right to love what you're doing. I'm not saying that, but I think the myth comes sometimes when people say, "Oh, find what you love doing and make a living at it." Well,
Right.
that don't always work out.
No, because I mean there of course are necessities, and you have to make sure that all that is taken care of. But if you could just little by little,
Yeah.
just find pleasure in whatever you do,
Yes,
then
ma'am.
you're gonna go far.
Yeah, and I think you've done that.
I,
You really
I
have
do
done that.
try.
Well, tell me about this market. How long
The
has it been here? What's going on with this place?
Well, this one was built in 1996 after the other one burnt down
Mm-hmm.
in Tazewell on Market Street, where Food Line is. So it's just that we have a sale once a week every Thursday. The livestock sale starts at 6 o'clock. Let's see. Of course, it takes right much to get ready for that. And every Monday we have the flea market that's been going on for years and years and years.
Yes, ma'am.
People think that we close down through the winter, but we really don't. It's weather related. So people still would like to come set up. They're more than welcome to. So with this new, with the venture that we're trying now with the Derby, we are just trying to explore and bring in some recreation for Tazewell County that we think is so very well needed.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's
Yeah.
cool. It's a brave thing and a big thing.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's a real big thing, but I think it's really neat that you're doing it.
Right. We have the prime location. We have great young people helping me to get it accomplished, and I think it's going to be very successful.
I do too. I think. Well, tell me about the gun store.
Okay, so the gun store, of course, was something that Mark got started, and it was just truly part of. It fell into our lifestyle with the hunting and all of the. We would spend a lot of Sundays. We would just go hunting and just go out into the woods, and it's just who we are. So that's just how the gun store is.
I think it's a cool business. I mean,
It is.
It really is.
Yes.
I mean, it's nice. And there's so much information now, and there's so much misinformation out there about guns.
Oh, there is.
I mean, my Lord, there's more nuts out there.
Exactly.
And that stuff than there's anything.
Well, we're hoping Trump.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all the way. And we have to have that.
We do.
We need that.
It's a scary thought to think that we may have to live through some of the things that third world countries live through.
Yeah. And I think that, but I really believe in what's my hope is that in the back of my mind that there's people like you and there's real people out there.
Right.
And I don't believe there's as many nuts as we think there are.
No.
I mean, I really believe there's more real people.
I think there are so many good people, and really, I really do believe that the next person is just trying to help your neighbor.
Yeah.
But, of course, there are a few that you do have to watch out for.
Yes, ma'am. There always is.
So.
Well, let's deal with a couple things. I want to deal with one thing. This is something I like to talk to people about. Let's talk about forgiveness.
Yes.
It seems to be in the land people have a trouble forgiving. I mean, how do you find that for you? I mean, is it easier, harder, or tell me about forgiveness?
It is a very, very hard thing to forgive because you have you remember, and that's what's so hard is, I mean, you can forgive, but it's hard to forget. So I do try very, very hard because everybody struggles, and through all this, that I have understood that so many people go through so much that you don't realize that they're going through.
Yes, ma'am.
So I try to take that into consideration when you somebody crosses you wrong, or you really do try to take that into consideration because life is so short. We don't have time to be angry, and we really don't.
Yes, ma'am. I had to preach a funeral of a man one time that was had went to prison for molesting one of his grandchildren, and they couldn't find anybody to preach his funeral, and they asked me to, and I was way down the line in their pick. okay, because I understood.
Right.
And it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But the big thing I talked about was forgiveness.
And
That's
that
I
we
talked about forgiving people. I
right.
said, you know, it's not going to hurt him if you don't forgive him.
Exactly.
It's only going to hurt you.
And you know, it really is not our place to judge them.
Right.
Even though people do bad things all the time, we have to remember that we all have done bad things.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
if we were not forgiven,
Yes.
just think of where we would be.
Yes,
So
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I used to have a good friend of mine. He went to be with the Lord now. And I would talk about different people coming to the Lord and giving their heart to the Lord. And he said, there's no way that they're going to, you know, he would always, you know, we would argue about it. And I said, now, man, I said, you know, you need to ease up just a little bit.
Yeah.
And ease up and add a little more of that love and forgiveness in there.
And I see a lot of that so many people are so hard on themselves. When they do something, it is so hard to forgive yourself. And you just really, we need to work on trying to be happy and
I agree.
Just the small, simple pleasures of life, just like cooking.
Yes, ma'am.
we both relate to that very much. So
I did what I did this morning. I went and bought me a little crock pot, $10 at Walmart yesterday, because my wife doesn't like chicken in the crock pot. She gets so mad. And I don't touch slimy old chicken, she'll say. But I said, well, I'm going to buy me a crock pot just for me.
Oh.
So I bought that little crock pot. And this morning I had to sneak, because I have to sneak and cook sometimes. I snuck over and I got me 2 chicken breasts out of the freezer that was frozen, 2 of them little small ones. And I put them in the bottom, and I put me a can of cream of chicken soup on top of it.
Ooh, boy.
I cut up a potato. I didn't peel it, and that always makes her mad. But I just cut it, put them down in there and diced it, and I dumped some carrots in, a little bit of onion powder and stuff anyway, and a little bit of beef broth. And I put it in there. I got it all ready.
Sounds delicious.
And I put the lid on it. And she said, what are you doing? I said, nothing. She was exercising. I said, nothing. And later on, I called back. I said, would you stir my just a little bit more? Seen that, she said.
Yeah, that reminds me of Mark. He always loved to have the skin left on the fish when we would go trout fishing. And I always wanted the skin. And so, lo and behold, he would always take the skin off just for me. But he loved it more than anything. He did. And it's funny how you do adjust to.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if my wife is adjusted. I think sometimes she's trying to adjust me all the time.
Well, that is very true. Very true.
Yeah.
And look what a work of creation she is.
Oh, boy. I told her I'm twice the man I was when she married me, because I've gained 100 pounds.
Well,
but I think about how much we should enjoy life.
We should.
And enjoy each other.
The simple things every day. If it's nothing more than having a cup of coffee in the morning and you just go outside on the porch and just take in the fresh air. I love it.
I think that you get, don't you think as you go along, your perspective starts to change, doesn't it?
Definitely.
How can you see your outlook on life? Now, it's extremely, right now, I like it. It's great. But has it always been that way, or
Of course not. No, you always, you feel drained, and you feel like, I don't think I can go on. And you really have to have it. You never get over losing somebody, never.
Yes,
but you learn to find the good things and to celebrate their life.
Yes,
and that is exactly what we're trying to do.
I think it's great.
And even the grandkids, I mean, they'll laugh when they'll see something that Mark has done and know that he's just right here with us.
Right.
So
I think it's beautiful.
It is.
I really do.
It is.
We look at our life and think about, but being when you think about keys, you have been successful, okay? And you and Mark have been successful in business.
Yes.
And as far as this thing, what are some keys you think that stick out in your mind that have caused you to be successful?
Well, you have to learn to give and take, for sure. Just because he was very, very stubborn, and anybody know him that. It was very hard to adjust his way of thinking. So
I would never imagine that.
I know, you would never.
Yeah.
So that was really, really a hard thing. When we would butt heads with, I really felt like my idea would be better or his,
ma'am.
But of course, it got worked out, and sometimes you have to trial and error and just see what you give and take is what I really, and really it's not good to go to bed when you're angry.
No, it's better not to.
Better not to. You do you do forgive and move on.
Yeah. Well, I think you learn, you put things in perspective.
Yeah.
And there's big things and little things. And my wife always says when the kids are trying to do something with the kids, she said, you got to learn to fight your battles.
Yeah.
And pick your battles and take the ones,
Right.
And I think that's important.
I do too.
And
I really do.
Sometimes things are not as big as we think.
No. Most of the time, really.
Yes,
most
ma'am.
of the time.
Yes,
Something can make you really mad. I know for a fact yesterday I got really frustrated at somebody, and it's really, really,
yeah.
You have to move on.
Yeah. I think, but we get older and we start to learn this and we start to practice these things.
You do.
And can you imagine if somebody 18 could do that? Wouldn't that be a hoot?
It is a hoot.
If they could pick up on those things with patience and figure out the perspective.
Right.
And figure out what
and I really do think that with our kids, and as they are so much smarter than what we were when we were that age. They know how to, explain what they're feeling or what they're thinking. Not afraid to tell you one little bit about that. So I just truly, I just think that they help me more than I help them.
That's great.
They help me.
I know you love your family, and I know that's not even, like I said, I've watched you with your grandkids, and I can see that, and I see you talking to them and playing with them, and I watched you soccer the other day. I seen you when you come in, and I think it's important. But like you said, we enjoy our life, take time, enjoy people. I just enjoy people. I like talking to people.
Yes.
And I believe this, and I think that's why we're sitting here today. I believe that there are treasures hid in these mountains.
Yes.
And I think you're one of them.
Well,
and
thank you. I think you're one. We are. We work together to get these things accomplished.
And I think you have things in your heart that you haven't read in a book somewhere.
Right.
But things you've been through.
Thank you.
They help other people.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing, like you shared, if we'll be patient just a little bit.
Yeah.
And sort of ease back. We don't know what people have been through.
No.
And I've seen people say things that, and I told them, I said, you might just ease up a little bit on them.
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of day they've had.
Yeah. So
that don't mean some people ain't just
donkeys
overall. Some people are just the way they are.
That's very true. Yeah.
But there are some people out there that sometimes we just need to ease up a little bit. And I shared with a buddy of mine, you need to take your foot off their throat.
Yeah.
Let them breathe a little bit and ease up.
And most of the time when you're in that frame of mind, it's because you're really angry at yourself.
Yeah.
And, when you realize, just like I said, I truly believe that we're all here to help each other. So when we can get through that, then we've got it made.
Well, you touched on a while ago about forgiving yourself.
Yes.
I think that's if we can begin to forgive ourselves and forgive others, then God forgives us.
That's right. And it is amazing. Yeah. It really is. Well, if we just knew, if we were this smart when we were younger.
Well, see, that's what I think. I think there's a lot of things wasted on young people. Youth is wasted on young people. And vision, being able to see, because I can't see very good. I can't see very good nor hear very good. But I mean, I think that's wasted on young people, being able to see where you're going. My kids will pass me a lot of times and blow their horn and wave, and I never see them. And they say, well, didn't you see me?
Yeah.
I said, no.
I hear that a lot myself.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
I just sort of seen the hood out in front. That's all I could see.
We do the best we can, and that's all we can do.
You ever have a situation? My daughter was giving me some directions one time, and she was telling me everything she wanted me to do. I want you to do this and this and this and this. I said, okay. And I agreed with her and went on. And then she stopped at the end because she's real smart. My oldest daughter, she said, you're not going to do any of that. And I said, no.
That sounds like mine.
Yeah, she said, no. And she said, well, why did you agree? I said, it seemed to make you feel so good.
Yeah.
I didn't want to rob you from that joy.
Exactly.
That you had a feeling like I was going to do what you told me.
And I do think they get pleasure out of being able to tell us what we need to do already.
Yes,
so,
Yes. With my mom, when my father first passed away, I was a little pushy with her. Wanting her to do things and wanting her to go here and wanting to do that. And finally I backed up and I said, I shouldn't be like this. I said, whatever you feel like doing.
Right.
And because just like when you deal with losing Mark, I mean, I don't know that. Okay. And I know that I don't understand that.
Right.
And but I just want to be there and help understand and help try to encourage.
It's
Because
true.
nobody knows what you go through.
No. And you can be fine one minute, and as I know, you know, something just like the smell of a food
Right.
or just something, it just hits you, and
Yeah.
then, you know, you gotta regroup.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yeah,
and that really is what makes us all human.
absolutely.
It
I think
is.
that's what separates
We
us.
have to realize what is so important, and
Yes,
you
ma'am.
cannot be afraid to show your feelings.
That's important too,
Yeah.
isn't it? You let people know when you are hurting.
Right.
I guess let them know.
Yeah, I guess.
And you know, it's like I said, at my age, we weren't taught to do that as men.
No.
You wanted to hold that in until you had a heart attack one day.
Well,
You know, you didn't want to let
that's
out those
true.
emotions and do those things. But I'm, you know, you seem very level. Okay, I'm not real level, but I mean, when I think that there's sometimes that we don't show the emotion that we need to show.
Right.
And but we have a nature. Each one of us has this nature about us. It's hard sometimes.
It is. It's a very, very difficult, and it's a situation you think you'll never be in.
Yeah.
But once you find yourself in it, you have to realize, you know, what am I going to do now? You've got to. You certainly don't want to stay in that.
Right.
So you do have to learn to find new memories.
Uh-huh. So that's one of the keys, you think, to find the
Yes,
new memories and
you
do the
do.
different stuff, and that makes a lot of
And you
sense.
grow each day.
Yeah.
You cannot live in the past.
No.
So you can't forget the past,
No.
because I wouldn't. I mean,
Right.
that's just made you who you are. But you
Yes,
do
ma'am.
have to keep growing.
Yeah. You know, we talked about forgiveness earlier and talked about forgetting. I don't know if God requires us to forget. He asks us to. He tells us to forgive, but if we forget, we'll be as dumb as we was the first
Right.
time.
I agree
You
with
know,
that.
and I think what happens. I was sharing this with a friend a while back, and they had went through some hard things in their life, and they were awful things that weren't fair, and I said, you can't forgive that person, but if you'll ask God to help you, He can help you forgive where you can't forgive.
Yeah.
And there's things that happen in our life, and we can't just we tell people, and I don't tell people no more, just forgive them, because that's a little foolish.
No. Right.
But, you know, because
those are empty words. It really is.
Yeah.
And
Because you can't sometimes.
no,
But with God's help, if we'll ask Him to help us,
it's true.
it's a process.
And each day we thank Him for all that He has given us.
Yes, ma'am.
That is a big key to it too. I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
everybody needs to be grateful. Whether
Yes,
you
ma'am.
think you just have, it's not fair that you don't have what the next person has.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with who you are.
Right.
So
Right.
it's what people need to remember.
And I think we all got more than what we know to do.
Oh,
with.
I do too.
Gee,
Definitely.
yes. I got more blue jeans than I can
Yeah.
wear. My wife washes clothes fast, okay? Extremely fast. And sometimes I'll be wearing the same blue jeans 5 days in a row. and I've gotten out to where I try to reach and get them off the bottom.
So
because,
that
man, she'll have them clothes washed and back up there so quick that I won't know.
And then you'll be traveling, and then you have to go buy new ones. That's just part of it, isn't it?
We've learned this when we travel. What we do, we take when we travel in the camper a lot. But I've got camper underwear and house underwear.
Oh, yeah.
And I keep socks and keep everything in there.
So you don't have to pack all the time.
I keep all my toiletries. We have everything in there all the time.
Yeah.
That way we can get in and leave.
That's how me and Mark did when we were at the gun shows every weekend. We just had you had your clothes that just stayed packed, and then you had your others. So.
And it works out good.
It does work out really good. It really does.
I'll tell you what, man, I've really appreciated it. Thank you so much for taking it.
You.
I know you're busy as a bee.
Oh.
And again, I do admire your entrepreneurship, and I know you haven't gave yourself enough credit for this. I mean, because you were doing, it's a big job.
I will take any suggestions that you have. That doesn't mean I'll accept it, but really, all the help that I've had through all of this, through this last year, I am forever grateful for everyone.
Yeah. Well, tell me this in closing, okay? I have two questions, but one, what about Rudy Keith?
What do you mean?
Just tell me about him.
That is a loaded question. He is definitely a person to remember.
There you go.
There you go.
You'll never forget him.
Never
When you
forget
sit
him.
down with him,
Never.
you absolutely will not forget him. I just think about him a lot. I just asked Jackie Atkins about him. I was talking to Jackie about him, and he's just such a. There's so much there.
Right.
I mean,
there is
absolutely. And is his name spelled right over there? Is it R?
R-H-U-D-Y.
I didn't know. What's it got the H in there? I never knew that. I never knew that.
Some people think it's just R-U-D.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I thought, after him to be different. I almost got kicked out of the fair over him. I told Jackie about that one time. He wanted to kick me and Robert Barrett out of the fair.
Yeah, they have that little attitude about that.
Yeah, he wanted to throw me. Yeah. Well, what I done was, you know them laser pointers, how they work, right? We had them down by our leg where you couldn't see us. Okay, and the men were out there in the figure eight,
right?
And we would circle it around on their butt when nobody was looking, and you could just see it going around. And people were dying laughing.
Right, and they didn't think it was very funny.
And then when Rudy would turn, when he couldn't see it, we would put it on his chest, circle it around, and he didn't laugh at all. He got real upset.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah. That's, him and Mark were very, very good friends.
I know they were.
Forever, and that's what I really hoped he would have stepped up a little more for this.
Right. But he was, I can understand, and I see it. There's stuff that, man, and life is a journey.
It is.
It is a journey.
And that is one of those, one of the moments I have to think, well, we have to try to imagine what somebody else is going through.
That's exactly. So, and I admire you for that.
I really do. But we do have a business to run down here, so
you better
we've got to do that too.
Yeah. You got to take no prisoners when it comes to that.
That's exactly right.
All right, one final question.
Okay.
Music.
Yes.
What kind of music do you like?
We like all kinds of music. I'm not real big on rap though. But other than that, really, we love music. Love music.
You like 70s? You like a little Dr. Hook, little Eagles?
Or
you more into Waylon Jennings? That's the
love,
only real rock there is.
Yes, that is true. Very true.
I like a little 70s music. Are you radio, or are you Pandora, or what do you do? How do you listen to music?
Usually, well, now I've been listening to the radio because of our commercial has been on WMEB.
Well, that makes sense.
But I mean, usually we'd listen to the radio going, somewhere. I don't really go that much anymore though, but I have, of course, music on my phone.
Right.
So everybody does that.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Dr. Hook lately.
Yeah.
And I listen to that. I love the old stuff.
But you mentioned hip hop. I was listening to some 60s, like at the Hop. And remember that?
Right,
I was actually listening to that this morning. So that was fun to relive.
I'm a big Eagles fan.
Yeah, I love
got
Eagles.
to see them in concert one time.
See, you're all. Oh yeah.
I like that.
Of course, Mark's music was Nickelback. So
was it? Well, it makes sense.
His number one song is Rockstar. And so whenever anybody hears that here in the family, they know.
They know it. Yeah. It's pretty neat. I think music keeps us.
It does. It keeps us centered.
I dance a little bit in the mornings sometimes, and my wife laughs. But, and I just sort of slide down the hallway a little bit, and I'll dance, and it makes her laugh. I think she's laughing at me, but it doesn't matter. Same effect. No. But I like to dance a little bit. I shake and I dance a little. And at 270 pounds, I'm a moving.
There you go.
But I enjoy that, and I've just, I think if we dance a little every day.
That's right.
Just
some way or another.
It don't got to be around. I say when you by yourself, boogie down. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Boogie just swells to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
I enjoy it. Well, I tell you what, we have stayed here till the sun's coming back out.
I love it. It's over.
I knew we were just settling the dust. It was raining a few moments ago when we started, but I felt like, I'm telling you, that's a big banner.
It is a big banner, and we have big thanks to our Go Promo people with Zach and Blake and Aura Cole.
That's enormous.
They have done a fabulous job with all of my printing needs that I needed.
Where are they located at?
They are located right above Old Boy Gotta Eat, which is Lowe's Garage. They're right there beside of that.
Okay.
And they do wonderful work.
That is beautiful. And those of you who don't know, if you go down the 4-lane in Tazewell right now,
you're
going to see the banner.
If you don't notice that, then you really are not looking.
Yeah.
I have had lots of compliments on that.
That is enormous.
Yeah.
One of the biggest banners I've ever seen in my life. I don't think I've ever seen anything that big.
I think it makes a statement. And look, really. Yeah. I just love it. I may have to keep it up for a while though to get the satisfaction out of it.
I'll tell you what I done a while back. you know, I'm an award-winning chef. Do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm award-winning.
I would believe that.
Okay, I won a chili cook-off down there in Nashville, international competition
Cool.
chili cook-off. Well, I got a ribbon. And so what I require my kids to do now is anytime someone asks them a question, is to say, as the daughter of an award-winning chef, then they finish out the statement, okay? And
Yeah.
you know, but I was thinking about, so I asked Kelsey when I was coming home, I said, she said, when you come home from the competition, should we have like people at the end of the town with banners and things like that?
Right.
I said, no, a simple billboard. So I was thinking,
Well, there you go.
I was thinking about getting me a banner like that.
There you go.
Just to hang up with me holding that ribbon.
Yes.
And
we hope you don't have to go through what he did, though, to get it. Because that
is really big.
It is.
I enjoy it. I enjoy life. I know you do now. I know it's hard. I don't no way think that. And you don't just get through it. It's life is a process.
It is.
I like where you hold on to the memories, but you make new ones.
You do. That's exactly right.
Good
each
advice.
Each day is a gift.
Good advice. All right. Well, Amanda Bailey has been with me today, and I've appreciated her. Come by the market Thursdays. They have a big livestock sale here on Thursdays, a big flea market on Saturdays. And
no, the flea market's on Mondays.
On Mondays, I'm sorry, on Mondays. I'm thinking about something else. On Mondays, Mondays, a big flea market on Mondays.
And we have a small animal sale on Saturdays, the first Saturday of each month, which are chickens, bunnies, rabbits, ducks, guineas. All kinds of people come for that.
Yeah. Wasn't it something during COVID you couldn't hardly buy chicken?
Yeah, there was.
That was wild,
and
wasn't
eggs,
it?
Yeah.
That was wild.
Really, it's been very, very popular.
Yeah.
So once a month, that is the small animal sale. Yeah. The first Saturday of each month.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock.
We need to push on that a little bit and let people know about that.
Yeah.
I'll help with that. I want people to know because that'd be
Thank
good for them. Real good for them. All right. Appreciate you.
Uh-huh.
And thank you for watching Just From the Shed. The reason we call it Just From the Shed is I originally do this program in an 8-foot by 10-foot storage shed that I have. I've done all kinds of programs. People come in there and I interview them in my storage shed. It's got all my stuff hanging up, all my tools and everything. But anyway, this one is on the road. Okay, Just From the Shed.
But we do have a shed.
Yes, this is sort of a shed. We're all right.
Yeah.
You're all right. All right, be sure and like, share, and follow, and let people know about